I was using RezMela to create a scenario that involves heavy rain and flooding, and I also installed the Spacenavigator, which I have not used for a very long time, and I just wanted to change the way I record things and maybe slow things down a little bit so that the recording is a bit smoother. And so let's see how, whether there is any whether that's useful or not. Because I have the impression that in my previous videos the cameras were actually too jerky, and I thought that maybe I would install Spacenavigator and see whether that helps. Clearly the motion is much smoother. The one thing I should mention is that if you are using Windows 10, you have to use the all drivers for Spacenavigator. If you're lucky, the new drivers can work, and which happened to me the first time. So the drivers and everything was well, I'm not sure whether it's the fault of the driver, but what I did was I installed the Spacenavigator drivers, the latest ones, on Windows 10, and it was working. Okay, and then after a couple of logins, it stopped working, and without any warning. So I thought that was a bit strange, and the only way I could get it to work is by removing the driver completely, the connection, the 3D connection, well, the Spacenavigator driver completely, and let Windows 10 find an old driver and let it use that. So I read a few blog posts, and I did see other people having the same issue. And it appears that the simple way to resolve this issue is just to download an old version of the Spacenavigator driver, which I think is version 3.8, and that would help you to get started if you're using Windows 10. Okay. Well, yes, it does feel smoother, the camera motions. Of course, everything is much slower, but maybe that's useful. Because normally when you use the mouse, and it's very easy to go to specific targets very quickly, whereas with the Spacenavigator, it takes a long time, and well, you could speed it up, by changing the various config values. But I think if you move the camera too fast, then it starts becoming jerky, and that's a problem. Okay. Yeah. So basically, what you're seeing here is a scene that's been saved in the RezMela system, and I've just uploaded the file, and it has placed a few objects and set the water level, etc., so that it's ready for an emergency preparedness exercise in dealing with a flooding situation. Okay. It's not perfect yet, but I can see how that could work. I think one of the main ideas here is to get a sense of the extent of the flood, and at least to have some graphic element that would make the environment, that would set the mood for the exercise. I actually didn't have, or had to avoid using particles to simulate rainfall, for example. These are just textures, and I think that it's probably better if you use textures to simulate rainfall, at least in the opensim environment. You know, particles don't do well over large areas, and I think, you know, the textures work much better. All right, so I hope you have some idea of well, this clip basically was only to, you see this cloud? I think I should say something about this cloud. Again, you know, just avoid particles and use textures. That's really more helpful. I probably need to have more well, the clouds are not to my satisfaction. There's a lot of work that remains to be done, but you can see that the low-level clouds can be improved, mainly because when you look at it from a certain angle, you can see the various planes in the cloud that looks separate, and that's not ideal. Okay, like you have a cloud here, and if I am at this angle, you can see that, you can see how it's made up. It's got all these slices of textures. So if I have to redo it, I will probably have to recreate another copy, rotate it 90 degrees, so that, you know, when you're looking at it from a particular angle, you won't see all these separate planes. Hopefully, never know. The only way of finding these things out is to actually doing it and seeing how it looks. Yeah, it doesn't look too great at the moment. Let's see. There was another thing I wanted to show, because it has a fairly big cloud. So let us go. So this is supposed to be like a tornado situation going on. I wanted to have some really thick clouds, and you can already see that it slows down. The frame rate really goes down, and it's kind of you know, it's pretty jerky here. Same issues with this one in the sense that if I were to make this transparent, it's not going to work. Well, and for obvious reason, because you would actually see through those transparent prims, and it won't look nice. You would see the inside surfaces. No, it's not easy to create you know, all these thick clouds and expect a reasonable frame rate in opensim. It's not that easy. Okay. All right, that's pretty much what I wanted to share today. Okay, thanks. Let me just stop the stream. Okay, bye.